Hi everyone, here is my presentation about observing myself as a critical reader. When I first signed up for this class, I was dreading it. Throughout elementary, middle, and high school, I was never the best writer, I was a slow reader, and I never fully comprehended some of the things we read and were learning in English class. So I waited until my junior year of college to take an English class because I was just not looking forward to it. However, I learned a lot of new reading techniques and have so many helpful tips and tricks for better comprehension. I am so happy to have taken this class, and it really opened my mind to the world of literature. Before taking this class, I was unaware of what the reader response theory was. This theory is based on the fact that there is a relationship between the reader and the text. The reaction that a reader has to a text is important to the reader's understanding of that text. Every reader is different, therefore they will all have different interpretations of the text. So I chose to talk about when I used the reader response theory to interpret Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried. When I first read this text, I thought of all of the items that the soldiers carried as materialistic and insignificant. However, when I read the story for the second time, I had a whole different understanding. Every item that was carried by a soldier had a specific meaning and was very special. They helped the soldiers make it through the horrible times of the war and were essential to the soldiers. Rereading the text helped boost my comprehension of the story and its significance. Continuing with the story, The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien, there were two things that I observed about my critical reading. The first thing was that I used visual imagery to help myself understand the story better. When I visualize the text, I feel like I am right there in the story. When I feel like what is happening in the story is happening to me, I can comprehend what is going on better. For example, in this text, one quote that stood out to me was, "His eyes had the bluish-gray color of a razor blade, the same polished shine, and as he peered up at me, I felt a strange sharpness, almost painful, a cutting sensation, as if his gaze were somehow cutting me open." When I read this, I could perfectly understand what the author is showing us. As the reader, I could feel his gaze on me as if he were standing right in front of me. The second thing that I observed about my critical reading of the text by Tim O'Brien was that I built my vocabulary while reading this story. There were several words throughout the text that I had never seen before, or if I had, I did not know what they meant. For example, one word that I did not know was insignia. When I used the context clues in the text around the word, I knew that it had something to do with the military, but I was not exactly sure. So I looked it up and found out that it meant a badge of military rank. This helped me to better understand this part of the story because I knew exactly what the author was talking about. There have been times before taking this class that I have read text and not known some words. I would have normally just moved on and kept going, only partially understanding what I was reading. But now I have this strategy. I will look up words I do not know and have a good understanding of what the author means. One of the digital tools that we used this semester was online journaling. This helped me a lot because I was able to keep track of everything I was writing for this course. Sometimes when I am journaling on paper for myself or for another class, it is easy to lose track of where everything is because papers can get misplaced easily. Also, journaling on my laptop in Word or Notes is also not the best option because when laptops crash, everything is lost. With online journaling, however, everything is saved online so you never have to worry about losing it and can access it from any computer, phone, or tablet with access to the internet. Critical thinking can be connected to almost anything. It is such a great tool to use to gain new knowledge. When I was learning throughout this semester how to use critical thinking to help me understand the short stories and text of this class, I was able to teach critical thinking to some students I work with. I work at an elementary school in the afternoon program. I have to help some students with their homework, and a lot of them have timed reading that they must complete each day. I was able to teach them some skills such as rereading, annotating, and active reading. This really helped a lot of them, and they had a significant difference in their reading. One of the challenges that I faced this semester was poetry. For as long as I can remember, I have never been the best at interpreting and understanding it. It has always been a challenge for me, so that carried through to this class. We were asked to read some war poems and annotate them. Then we had to describe how each one made us feel. This was difficult for me because I do not get the point of poems. They do not tell me a story like a book does. I do not feel that I get enough information from them to develop thoughts about them, so that is why they are so challenging for me and continue to challenge me. The most memorable experience I had this semester was during Module 6. This was where we had to write an ekphrasis poem. We had to choose a piece of artwork that portrayed a war scene and interpret it in order to base our poem off of it. As I mentioned in the last slide, I am not great at interpreting poems, so you can probably guess that I am also not great at writing them. This was so memorable for me because I actually ended up writing a poem that I loved and was very proud of. It made me feel so great to put all of my heart into that poem and love the final product. So I may not be interpreting poems after this class, but I may start writing some. Although I am supposed to choose one moment as my aha moment, I have to say that this entire semester fits that description. As I said in the beginning, I was never great in my English classes and always dreaded them. However, I really enjoyed this class. Our professor and the material in this course really showed me how to appreciate literature and how great and impactful it can be. I am so grateful and fortunate to have been able to take this class and look forward to using all of the skills that I learned in the future. Thank you so much, Professor H, for an amazing semester. Finally, here is the works cited page for the image that I used. Thank you again.